so as I'm sure you can see behind me, I've ordered quite a few parts for the M3. I have not worked on this car in quite a while. What prompted me to order everything for this car at once was the 325IS build. If you're new to the channel or if you just haven't checked out that series, I'll link the playlist down below so you can check that out. I went top to bottom on that car and covered absolutely every maintenance item. With the welded diff, the chassis mount, the no air conditioning, I do actually daily drive that car to school and back. In the last 2 months, I've put, I don't know, like 2,000 miles on it or so, and it has not skipped a beat. So I say all that to say that this is a very anticipated maintenance weekend, or weekends, however many parts this actually takes. Let me actually run you through the parts that I decided to purchase for this car, and I'll kind of just show you everything because it all did show up in one order. So I've been looking through part numbers and stuff, trying to confirm that I have everything. I would have been really surprised, honestly, if they would have gotten absolutely everything right. I'm not super surprised that there was a few little hiccups in the order. I'll go over what we have and what we don't have. All right, so I've confirmed part numbers for absolutely everything. We have the oil filter housing kit here. So this comes with new bolts, new washers, gasket, high pressure line. Their power steering kit, I've used this before on the 325IS. I just figure this is so much easier than piecing everything together yourself. So new return, new high pressure reservoir, banjo bolts, intake manifold gaskets because we will have that off. Got a new reservoir along with some O-rings, an additional drain plug, and the temp sensor. If you have an E36, yours is most likely not working. Now the one that I'm kind of bummed about is this guy here, because this is the Z3M radiator, and it just has a few additional cores, so it does keep it a little bit cooler, and it's the exact same size as the OEM radiator, so totally cool. I love this upgrade. However, this one showed up totally unusable, but I've already sorted that out with them. They are sending out a new one. Additionally, we'll be doing an oil change. This is all there, of course. This is a super comprehensive hose kit, literally every water hose you'd need. So that is there with all new hose clamps as well. New BMW blue, new fuel filter, a metal impeller Stewart. This is a must-have in my opinion. Some new water pump bolts, new throttle body gasket, some RTV. Definitely need that because every time I use RTV it dries out. Because I am missing some items from my order that happen to be a part of the cooling system, I will not be able to complete that today, but I will start disassembly as well as do whatever else I can do that I do have here. We're gonna start with the fuel filter. Super overlooked maintenance item on these cars because the fuel filter is not in the engine bay. I've never changed it on the M3. I don't know when it's been changed last. They're cheap enough to just do it, and it's very easy to do. So let's start with that. So before we even go underneath the car, we need to depressurize the system. Now, I'm sure you could just go and pull the line off the fuel filter, but you're gonna have to deal with the mess, and I don't really wanna deal with that. Easiest way to do this, go into your fuse box, and the camera won't focus, but I am just going to pull the fuel pump fuse. Super easy, fuse number 18 on this car specifically. So we're gonna pull the fuse, let the car run, and get the fuel out of the system, at least out of the lines up here. And then that's also gonna help us because we are gonna have to pull the intake manifold, and that will depressurize the fuel system to the injectors as well, so we won't have to deal with that either. Alright, so as you can see, we have our fuel filter right here. You are going to unclamp this line and this one. And this guy's kind of hard to wiggle out of here. You can also see there's a 10 mil that kind of holds this bracket in place, and the fuel filter is actually a little farther back than I think it was on the other car. But yeah, basically unmount this guy, unclamp these, and make sure you have your drain pan ready, because there will be fuel. Even though we depressurized it, there's still going to be plenty of fuel falling out. So considering gas is like almost $6 a gallon, this kind of hurts, but gotta be done. Oh. All right, so normally these guys do have a manufacturer date on them, so you can kind of get an idea of when it was last changed. This one, if that's correct, it would have been August of 2009. So like 13 years old. Old enough to be changed for sure. All right, we're ready to put the new one in. Super easy, reverse process. Just keep in mind that these are directional. So the arrow normally indicates towards the engine, and then at least on the malls they have like a stamp here that says out as well. Out also goes towards the engine, so it's gonna sit in there like that. Make sure it seats all the way on there, of course. Okay, so since the fuel system is already depressurized, I'm not gonna pop the fuse back in and run the car yet because we have a lot more to do. So fuel filter is fully installed, done. But if you're just doing the fuel filter, of course, you wanna pop the fuel pump fuse back in, prime it first, start it, make sure you don't have any leaks. I'll just cover that when the time comes. But right now, I'm going to pull this manifold. I'm gonna time lapse this and I'll put down below, I'll find a video of mine where I actually pulled this manifold because I've done this way too many times, so I'm not gonna go step by step with this. But I think I'm gonna start with the manifold. I'll probably pull, I don't know if I'm gonna do coolant yet because I am waiting on a radiator and stuff, and that's gonna take a while. So I might just leave the cooling system mainly intact unless I run out of stuff to do. So let's get to the manifold. The manifold off. Thank you to Justin for coming by to help. It's much easier with two people. This thing's a little gunky. Like, this is not good. My hands should not look like this from pulling an intake manifold. So this car has like an idle fluctuation problem, and I can almost guarantee that I will show you the problem right now. All right, so this is your idle control valve. These have a butterfly valve in them. If your idle is ever bad in your E36 and you know it's not a vacuum leak, chances are it's this. What do you think? You think this is gonna be seized or it's gonna make noise? Gonna be seized?
It sounds so bad.
It moves though. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. But like when you look at it and you look at the engine bay, like you would think, but we'll clean it and make sure it's even smoother. I'll show you guys in a second what the engine bay looks like now that we have the manifold off. It's pretty gunky in there. I think that high pressure line and doing the housing gasket like is just gonna be a million times better, and it's gonna keep stuff like this from getting oily and gross. So anyways, we're gonna clean this out and I'll get back to you. Okay, so just ran some brake cleaner through the ICV, and I'll put the clips back to back because I can't 100% tell. I know it's faster, I just don't know how much faster, so listen to this. It's very free at this point. Like, shit's much freer. That's basically it. Just wanted to show you the difference. This thing looks so bad, dude. The intake valves, there's just shit on the sides. The high pressure line looks There's like a bug in the alternator. Can you see that on camera? Bug's life. I have most of what I want to do to like revamp this thing, but now that I see it, I'm gonna do a little bit more. The clean thing is like when I did the belts and pulleys on this.
Oh yeah, the fresh bolt.
But like everything else looks terrible. So I think I'm gonna end the video. What I will do is get online tonight and order the rest of what I think we're gonna need. And then the next video will actually go and clean this stuff up and whatever. So actually, depending on when I'm editing this, if it's not long enough, I'll just include bits of me pulling more stuff apart.